They're waiting for their hammock. Let's get started. There's going to be many of these longer cords. We're going to fold each one in half. And take one dowel, put it right in through there, like so. And then take a piece of this shorter cord here, thinner, shorter cord. This is braided cord, and then tie it right on, like tying it first, like tying a shoe. Tighten it, pull it up, tighten it so it stays right on there, and then like tying a shoe again. The first step of tying a shoe, just up and around and pull. And then we're going to do, and then cut off if you want to do that. Then we're going to do that with the remaining cords. Take one, fold it in half, fold it in half. Oh yeah, in through, like just like so. Take a piece of this thinner braided cord, and it's like tying a shoe. First step of tying a shoe. Ta-ta! Pull it up, and then up and around again. And then, once you're done with that, you do that with the remaining cords. Let's see how many cords we need to fit on here. Friends here are waiting patiently with their lemonade in the sun as we work. I put all the cords are on there now. There's 9. We'll see how that looks after, if it's wide enough with 9 cords. See how long it is right now. I'm not sure if I really need it to be this long. We'll see. So, what we can do is take it and flip it over so the knots are on the other side. So, now it's time to put the dowel on the other side. We want to put it just maybe slightly shorter than the length of post to post on our hammock base. Okay, I'm going to tie the ends on first, keeping it try to keep it even and not off crooked. Let's see here. So up and around. Under through. And right, pull tight. And both ends. Here's the first one. To secure these really well at the end, you might want to put some fabric glue. All right, let's get the other side. Up and around. And around. And through. All right, let's see. Let's get this about the same here. Once you get the ends balanced, it'll be easier to knot the middle cords. Okay, good. Pull both ends once you get it nice and tight. Once you get it balanced, aha, there. Now we'll do the same for all the middle cords. Okay, there's a little fun strategy here to help these stay even. I kind of cut this one a little bit shorter so it's easier to put and around a knot. So I was going up and over to the left. Down around. And then pulling up on the dowel and down on this cord to make sure it's all even. And then bringing it down, up and in through, and then doing the same thing, pulling up on the dowel and then pulling on the cord, then pulling it a little bit snug right where the cord is, pulling up on the dowel again, pulling it, then you can tighten real good, and then look at that, it's the same. And then do that, I'm going to do that with the last one here. Up to the left. Pull. Up and around and through. And pull again. Pull on that cord. Pull snug. Helps it all line up in a nice, neat way. Yeah, this is coming along. Let's, we're gonna put a little structure underneath in just a moment. First, let's cut the fringe. This is pretty long, so I'm gonna cut it about 1 inch long for now. So it's for now. You can always cut it shorter or a little longer if you like. It's good to put some fabric glue along here so that will stay well. Let's make the structure for the underside, so rock friends don't fall through these cords. I'm gonna turn it upside down. And push, I'm going to also push in on these knots so there's room on each end. And then, let's see here. I have 2 pieces of cord here. So first, I'm going to take both pieces of cord, put them end to end, and then overlap them right in the middle, and then tie a knot right in that spot. So up and around and through, and then pull snug. So it's right in the middle. Okay. So next we're going to some troubleshooting. They're kind of a cool alternate version of looks a little cleaner. The other way I just showed you is very fast and quick. This one's a little bit cleaner looking. You take this cord, the thinner cord, so you see how this is X right and X right in the middle. Just kind of bring them lined up parallel a bit. Take the cord, maybe about, make this about 1 inch. You're going to make this about 1 inch across. So you take the cord, tie it on there, over, around, and down. Do that again so it'll stay, because we want that to stay and not fall off. Over and down, and then we just take this cord and we're going to wrap it around about 1 inch wide. So let's see, let's go this way. Over and around those 2 cords, like this, under. And we're just going to keep doing that until it's about 1 inch wide. Okay, there it is. Now we tie it off on this end. So we take this cord, go underneath the last wrapped cord, and pull it through like so, and pull it tight, and then do that one more time. I'm just going to put it through, loop it through one more time, and make that knot again to secure it really well. Through that through. Okay. Oops. Through. And nice and snug. There we are. And clip the ends. You can see how you can make these, that looks much cleaner and neater for the underneath. You can tie that on, just like we're going to tie on the alternate version, the first version I showed you. Either one you can choose. We're just going to add a little bit more structure here, and then we're going to put it on the underside like so. So there'll be some structure underneath the hammock. Okay, so we're going to take a couple pieces of small cord that you might have left over that you've cut off. I'm going to tie one on each side, up and around, and pull like that, and then take another short piece of cord that you might have laying around left over, and then pull and just knot it, pull against the other knot. Then we're going to do this. Let's see. I thought we were going to do it 2 more times, but let me look. Oh, that needs to be a little bit more snug against there. Actually, you know what? Let's just space them out a little. See how they're spaced out just a little bit? Like that? From each other? All right, now we can cut the ends off. A little bit of fabric glue on each. Put the knots right in the center of the hammock. And then we're going to tie each of these cords right to the ends, the 4 edges. So down and around, up and through. As you do this, check that the knots are in the center still, like so. And then on the other side, some troubleshooting. They're kind of a cool alternate version of looks a little cleaner. The other way I just showed you is very fast and quick. This one's a little bit cleaner looking. You take this cord, the thinner cord, so you see how this is X right in the middle. Just kind of bring them lined up parallel a bit. Take the cord, maybe make this about an inch. You're going to make this about an inch across. So you take the cord, tie it on there, over, around, and down. Do that again so it'll stay. So we want that to stay and not fall off. Over and down. And then we just take this cord and we're going to wrap it around about an inch wide. So let's see, let's go this way. Over and around. Over and around those 2 cords. Like this. Under. And we're just going to keep doing that until it's about an inch wide. Okay, let's tie on this side. And around and through. Before we pull snug, check that the knots are still centered and that everything's aligned. Let's see, like it's a little off, so I'm going to pull it back like that, and then pull this one snug, like so. You're going to want to put craft glue on these knots also. Okay, craft glue. I'm going to cut them to be about the same length as the other fringe, and it'll blend right in. Okay, like that. Push them right in. Oop. All right, and then on the other side, all right, on the other side, down and around, and through. Okay, how's this going? It's good. Okay, pull tight. All right, that's good. Same with the other side, up and around, over and through. See that? Okay. Fabric glue. These ones have fringe, this doesn't, so you could keep it long or two. Let's see what it looks like. Let's turn it around. All right. So this is going to be our hammock. Here's our hammock piece. We just need to put the pieces that will connect to the posts through. Let's do it. Okay, there's one. And then the other one down on the other end. I would do this twice. And then a little bit more craft glue on this would also work well. Okay, now. Okay, time to put our hammock onto the base. Let's put the hammock right in there. So take this end of the cord, put it right through the hole, pull it through. Same with the other one, the other side. All right, just like that. And then let's loop it down around on each side, and we can see, actually, pull this a little tighter, pull it tight. Okay, let's see, how high do we want this? We can kind of see a little bit to make sure, oh, my arm's in the way, and kind of make sure that it's not going to hit the ground. So it's going to want to be a little bit off the ground, like so. So we can pull this, and then as tight as you want it, and then knot it right in that spot, like we have been on the other side. Let's see here. Okay. Let's make sure. Yes, okay, that's right. And then one more time. All right, now before I cut that, I'm going to, let's put the other side on. Let's pull it up and around. And then tie it on. You can see that it's almost touching the ground, so we needed it to be a little bit tighter. So I'm going to undo those knots. Okay, let's see here. Undo the knots. And then pull it up even tighter. Right. Here it is. Took a little bit of adjusting. I tied these knots and untied them a few times to get it the height I wanted. And then I also kind of pushed these knots down around a little bit so the fringe is going down. And oh, they cannot contain themselves. So who wants to go first?